Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's Chapter Leader webinar, LTC-Know Before You Go, Reveal the 2021 Chair's Theme, Communities and Chapter Resource Center. My name is Jenna Davis, Manager, Chapter Operations for HFMA, and I'll be serving as your moderator for today's webinar. If you have questions at any time during the webinar, please type those into the Q&A pod and we'll address those at the end of today's presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be available next week in the Chapter Leaders Webinar Center. At the end of the presentation, you'll receive an email to complete an online evaluation. Your feedback is very important to us, so please take just a few minutes to complete it. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce today's presenters. Tammy Galindez, HFMA's 2020-21 Chair, Andrew Hatemonik, incoming co-chair on the Chapter Advancement Team, and Sean Gretz, the 2019-20 Regional Executive for Region 7. And last but not least, Tracy Packingham, Director of Chapter Relations here at HFMA. So let's take a quick look at today's learning objectives. Here's what we plan on covering today. Tammy Galindez, HFMA's 2020-2021 Chair, will provide a sneak peek at her theme for the upcoming year. It's been said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Andrew will share insights regarding long-term chapter planning and other helpful tips. Sean will review the new 2020-21 dashboard and cover the key DCMS chapter requirements. A sneak peek of the Leadership Training Conference and visiting the new Chapter Resource Center and the Leadership Connection online community. The goal for today's webinar is to help each of you feel more prepared as you begin planning for the upcoming year. And now it is my pleasure, to introduce our first speaker today, Tammy Galindez, the incoming HFMA Chair for the 2020-21 year. Tammy, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you, Jenna, and good afternoon, everybody. And I'm so excited to be here, and I appreciate you inviting me to join your call today. I got to share with you, it wasn't long ago. I sat exactly where you are as a chapter leader, and I was both, anxious and excited about the year ahead, and looking forward to learning what the chair-elect had chosen for his theme for the upcoming year, his or her theme for the upcoming year's HFMA chair. So I'm just excited to be in this position today. And I'll tell you again, I'm both anxious and excited. So I share your sentiments. So it's a special pleasure to join you this afternoon and have this opportunity to give you a little sneak peek into my theme. So how did we get here? For me, selecting a theme was a process that involved a lot of self-reflection. As I went through this process and thinking about the current state of our industry, our association, and quite frankly, life in general, I kept coming back to this question of just, exactly how did we get here? Was it by default or was it by design? I find that actually to be a fascinating question, and it's appropriate when you're discerning the disposition of your own lives, of your own livelihood, and of our industry. It's also why my chosen theme is one that I hope will prompt us all to bring a level of consciousness and accountability to the decisions that we make every day, all day. And that theme is Lead by Design. So my goal is that this theme will not only prompt us to all to ask ourselves some important questions, but also to encourage us to lead with a level of intentionality in all areas. So our industry, when we think about our industry, right, how much of our industry landscape was in fact landscaped? If you consider our payment system, our technology platforms, and the delivery system itself, is it what we would have imagined in the beginning? I don't know. Were we intentional about what our end result needed to be? Probably not. And obviously we can't anticipate everything that's going to come our way, but my suggestion is that we can do more than just react, so we can lead by design. When we think about our careers, how did you end up in healthcare? I always think it's funny that in the vast world that we live in with all the different roles, rarely does a child dress up as a vice president of finance or a director of revenue cycle at their elementary school career day. They usually go as a fireman, or I was an actress, or things like that, or a school teacher. So notwithstanding, though, we've all found our way here some way, somehow. So where are we going? Are you deliberately plotting your course to take full advantage of what might be available with an automated AI-powered workforce? There's likely a career path associated with your current role, but is it something that you're actually passionate about? So let's look beyond the next ladder rung, focus on a single organizing idea, and then plot that path. So let's lead by design. Our communities and ourselves. The understanding of the ramifications of social circumstances on the cost of care and the quality of our lives is growing, right? We're getting all kinds of information that's informing that. Our payment models and the service offerings are evolving to account for such costs, and we're working to close the gaps with those changes in how we actually deliver care. But are we working to get beyond the current payment models and the partnerships, or are we simply working with and reacting to whatever CMS delivers to us? And what about ourselves? It's interesting that that which we cannot control, which is our own genetics, contributes less to the length and quality of our lives than do those factors that we can control, which is our behaviors and to some extent our social circumstances. So what are the personal decisions that we make every day, all day? Are we making decisions that allow us to live our very best lives? So let's model that which we would like to see our families and our communities adopt. Again, leading by design. And then finally, our association. HFMA has taken bold steps over the last few years to think beyond the status quo and deliberately plot a path that lands our association and our industry in the future, remaining relevant and contemporary. As a result, HFMA is better positioned to help healthcare finance leaders and organizations successfully navigate today's complex environment while helping its members to advance its careers. What more can we be doing, though, to advance our profession and our industry as we pursue the achievement of the triple aim? What could we do? What could we do next as an organization to address social determinants of health? So I would suggest let's convene at all levels, strategize and support one another as we work to address such challenges and take advantage of those opportunities. Let's lead by design. As I bring my remarks to a close, I want to remind you of the parable of the fox and the hedgehog, and some of you may be familiar with this, but if not, the bottom line, in case you're not familiar with the story, is that the fox may know many things, but it's the hedgehog that knows one big thing. And according to the author Jim Collins, in his book Good to Great, the hedgehog concept explains why some companies succeed in making the leap from good to great. And Collins says that the hedgehogs simplify a complex world into a single organizing idea, the basic principle, or a concept that unifies and guides everything. It's the undercurrent that sits underneath everything that they do. So I ask you, what's your personal hedgehog? Where would you be if you could start from scratch? Who would you be? How would you be? So let's create that. Let's live that. Let's own that. Take ownership of it, and let's lead by design. I'm looking forward to sharing more about my team when we all meet in Austin for LTC. Until then, I wish you all the best as you embark upon the important work of designing your chapter plans for a successful year in 2020-2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. We are looking forward to hearing more about your theme at LTC. So we're just going to touch base just real quick on the chapter relations team. We're excited to welcome Brianna and Erica to the team, and Jenna is showing them the ropes, and everyone here is here to help and support each chapter and region. Our team is available to join calls for support, and if anybody is interested, please just email us at chapter@hfma.org. So here's a sneak peek of who the new council will look like, the Regional Executive Council. And if you don't know them, we encourage you to reach out to these leaders as they've served in the same roles as you have, or you're embarking on at LTC. Do you know who they are? And if you need to get a contact, we can help you with that. It's out on the Chapter Resource Center. And it will also be in the chapter planning calendar and resource guide, which will be available at the chapter on the Chapter Resource Center's website in April. The Regional Executive Council set the policies and goals related to the chapter metric requirements, and they also review the chapter, the Davis Chapter Management System we refer to as DCMS, and the Founder Merit Awards program. Your regional executive, RE2 and RE3, are all available to assist with your chapter operations questions. So just to kind of go over the Regional Executive Council, the REC Chair and Vice Chair are part of the HFMA board members. There are 11 regional executives that go along with the regions that exist today with all the chapters. They're elected annually by the president-elects of their respective regions during the Leadership Training Conference, and some regions have already done this year to kind of get a jump start on who the next RE3 will be for the 2020-2021 year. They serve 1-year term as an RE3, 1-year term as an RE2, and then they get to sit at the council and make decisions as an RE, and that's also a 1-year term. Primary link between the chapters and HFMA, REs are called upon to help chapter leaders understand the overall organizational strategy and direction. The members also task and understand overall HFMA strategies, and chapter leaders need to set policies that address member needs. The council has all authority related to activities that impact chapters, the dashboard to ensure it aligns with the organization's strategic direction. They also, the DCMS requirements to ensure that the seamless system of delivery to the members. So with that, I get to introduce Andrew Haitmanick, and I'm turning it over to you, Andrew.
Good afternoon. As Tracy said, my name is Andrew Haitmanick. I am the immediate past president of the Oklahoma chapter and also a member of the chapter advancement team. Thank you all so much for being on this webinar today as we share some important information with you, our chapter leaders, about the upcoming LTC. And most importantly, thank you so much for your service to HFMA. I'm a firm believer that our incredible organization only exists because of the passion and dedication of our local chapter leaders, such as yourselves. A key element of a successful year in your chapter's advanced planning, and thus an emphasis placed on planning at and in advance of LTC. So it's important to plan. Chapter planning and goal setting are extremely important, and early and inclusive planning is often critical. There's a lot of opportunities for planning time at LTC, and you're going to be encouraged to use them, but it's really important that you start the process now. Thorough planning is critical to ensure that you have a successful chapter year. And working with different chapters, we find that often chapters plan very differently. Some do chapter planning on an annual basis, while others prefer to plan a mid to long range strategic plan that'll cover between 2 and 5 years. Whatever you decide to do depends on a lot of different factors. It can be dependent upon your chapter's culture, the experience level within your leadership group as to the planning, and the depth of your volunteer pool, just to name a few. Regardless of whatever plan you decide to make, you'll want to include as many members of the leadership team as possible when developing it and direct them to the chapter leaders resource website. Having this information in advance of the meetings will help your team better understand the chapter and the needs of your members. So performing, for example, a SOAR analysis, which highlights your strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results, and other discussions in advance of the meeting will allow that meeting to be based on data-driven facts rather than speculation. If you'd like to engage with the chapter advancement team in a facilitation in advance of the planning process or as part of the planning process, the chapter advancement team is ready and willing to help. All you have to do is complete the online facilitation request to start the process. CAT members are experienced, unbiased facilitators who've walked in your shoes and been where you are. They're all past presidents of their local chapters, representing a broad geographic spectrum and a broad spectrum of chapter size, including, my home state of Oklahoma. Other members are representative of Nevada, Maine, Iowa, Virginia, Georgia, California, Montana, and other states in the past. So we are happy and willing to lend our experience and passion for HFMA to you and your next planning meeting. If you are interested in facilitation, we recommend that you put that request in at least 3 months in advance to give us time to ensure that we have team member availability and to also allow for adequate time to plan in advance of your meeting. Also, if you're interested, let us know in advance of LTC and we may be able to ensure that a CAT team member can begin working with you and your chapter while you're on site in Austin. There are multiple resources available to your chapter as you begin planning for the 2021 year, including the dashboard, C-event reports, the chapter portal, the chapter survey results, 5-year chapter performance metrics, and other chapter-specific documents. You can see or use these resources for planning, as well as interpreting and supplementing the member satisfaction results that you should have received recently. Other important items that are unique to your chapter should also be included in your planning session and can include, organizational charts, job descriptions for each of the chapter leaders within your chapter, as well as prior years planning documents that may help to guide what you've done in the past and what's been successful and then also what's not been successful. So transitioning really quickly, we'd like to talk about LTC. Obviously, it's coming up in April. So what is the purpose of LTC? LTC exists to orient and prepare chapter leaders for the upcoming year. Every year and every role within the chapter requires a different knowledge and skills, and we hope to help prepare you as leaders for those new roles. Of course, we want to help facilitate also the building of relationships, whether that be within your own chapters, amongst those who are serving in similar roles in other chapters, or just across the country with peers from other states. People and relationships are one of the foundational elements of HFMA, and we want to help facilitate the development of those relationships. There are countless elements of LTC. I'm going to go over just a couple of them briefly to make sure that I highlight some of the important things that are going on. Starting on Sunday, regional planning time is led by your regional executives and is for incoming chapter presidents, presidents-elect, and regional executive and executive twos to meet as a region and talk about the year ahead. Leadership breakouts are geared towards more general topics that anyone can benefit from attending. Leadership tracks by position will help prepare you for the specific leadership role within your chapter. We're also excited to announce that we have added a multi-track session covering enterprise members and how to engage with our enterprise organizations. These sessions are in direct response to your feedback requesting additional information on the topic. Many chapters have also expressed interest in attending the live streaming 101 session that we are offering. This session was previously limited, but has been opened back up to allow for a few more participants because of the high demand. If you're interested, I'd recommend that you go in and modify your registration now. Please understand that participation in that particular session, or if we're offering multiple, those particular sessions is limited because of the size that you need to keep a session like that to ensure that the information is adequately communicated and everyone's learning appropriately. But we want to do our best to facilitate more chapters participation. Additionally, during LTC, there are several networking opportunities with your peers and opportunities to share successful practices with each other. Join the LTC reception. The networking reception on Monday night from 5 to 7 will be partnering with an incredible organization called Together We Rise, which serves children in foster care situations nationwide. And then one big thing that I want to highlight for you, sponsors will also be available to network with attendees and discuss speaking opportunities available to chapters. Please visit with the sponsors at this event. Not only have they helped to underwrite the cost of LTC, but in many cases they're actively invested in HFMA at the association, regional, and local levels. Our local chapters cannot exist without the support of our business partners and sponsors. So while there, please engage with them. LTC wraps up on Tuesday with the chapter action plan time, also known as the chapter planning time, where you can get together with your chapter before heading home. A couple additional elements or events that you need to be aware of and not miss. Start your LTC experience by attending Monday general session, where HFMA President and CEO Joe Pfeiffer and Tammy Galindez, who you just heard, who's coming into her new role as the HFMA chair, will unveil her theme to LTC for the 2021 year. Please also attend Tuesday's general session, where HFMA's 2020 chair, Mike Allen, will be sharing his parting remarks and introduce Grace Killalay, a motivational speaker on leadership. In the evaluations from last year's LTC, one of the most appreciated aspects of the conference was the best practice sharing, the practical takeaways, and the hands-on learning. So come prepared for this year's conference to be packed with those particular items. Bring your own device, your laptop, iPad, tablet, whatever you have. It will be either required or recommended for most of the sessions and will help you make the most of your experience at LTC. But most importantly, plan to participate. Successful practices, lesson learned, things that may not have gone so well. Whether you are attending a leadership track or a breakout by topic, come prepared to actively participate in all of the sessions. Be ready to share your chapter's experiences with your peers. LTC attracts more than 500 volunteers from HFMA's 66 chapters, and you have something that others can learn from. And I would highly recommend, listen. Other chapter leaders may have just the answer you need, or may already have addressed an issue or a concern in their chapter that you're trying to figure out in yours. So be willing to not only engage, but listen. And then in closing, I have a few reminders for participants. Understand, regional executives, RE2s, past presidents, chapter advancement team members, they've all been where you are, and they want to help you be successful. We can help with a facilitation by a chapter advancement team member, which would allow the leaders of the actual chapter to be active participants in the strategic planning, succession planning, volunteer recruitment, membership recruitment, or retention strategies. Contact the chapter relations team to get started with that. We would love to help you. We want to make your experience as a chapter leader better, and we want to help you make your chapter better. You can always access the Chapter Resource Center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on hfma.org. And then lastly, if you ever need anything, the chapter relations team is a phone call or an email away. Understand, this team is incredible. They go above and beyond to take care of the needs of our chapters, and they really do want to serve you and help you out in any way that they can. So if you have questions, reach out to them. They've done an incredible job of taking care of me as my time as a chapter leader, and they will take care of you as well.
Thank you, Andrew. We appreciate your time and dedication to HFMA as well. At the regional council meeting last fall in November, the REC reviewed feedback from the chapter leaders at Fall President's meeting held in September of 2019. Much of what they heard centered around the ideas that chapter goals needed to be member-centric and the chapter direction needs to emphasize strategic planning. The REC considered how to design the dashboard and decided to concentrate on 3 elements: membership, value, and engagement. With that being said, it is an honor to introduce Region 7 Regional Executive Sean Gretz.
Thank you so much, Tracy. As Tracy said, I am the Regional Executive for Region 7, and I'm happy to share with you today the 2021 dashboard, Chapter Success Plan, and the DCMS Awards for 2020 and 2021. As Tracy said, during the November Regional Executive Council in Chicago, we get to establish these benchmarks which are identified that will provide individual chapters feedback on their progress. The resulting monitoring system is made up of 2 components, the 2020-2021 dashboard and also the Chapter Success Plan. This system will include elements in membership, value, engagement to be displayed on a true dashboard, and the Chapter Success Plan will help individual chapters focus on individual chapters' ingredients to drive success. Combining, they will be much broader and a deeper perspective of individual chapters' performance. So with that, let's dive in to the dashboard itself. Throughout the REC meeting in November, we determined we wanted to focus on member value, keeping that member value at the center of the chapter planning. And with that, we decided on 4 metrics that we wanted to achieve as an association. The first metric is membership growth. The council agreed that individual membership growth, as opposed to enterprise, can be tracked and tasked to the chapter. And with that, we have set a goal for our chapters to grow the individual memberships. The target goal will be 3% and with a stretch goal of 5%. Again, as opposed to enterprise, this is really focusing on those members that do not have an enterprise home that are still valuable to us as an organization. This goal will be calculated June 1st of 2020 as the start date or the denominator for the calculation of the goal. After June 1st, if there's any members that do convert from an individual member to an enterprise member, they will be adjusted or removed from that denominator or the start count. The goal will be that to achieve this as a chapter, a region, and an association all together. We're hoping that we all can pull in this together and get the 5%. The second metric is the value to the members. The Net Promoter Score from the membership satisfaction survey has been the traditional method that we've utilized to see what the value to the member is. Traditionally, that member satisfaction survey has been sent in fall of each year. This year, it will be biannually, or what I should say is 2020, 2021, it will be biannually and sent twice per year in spring and fall. That metric's target rate will be at 50%. The third metric is the educational quality. The Council has set an educational quality target of 65%. All events that are registered through CVent and surveys completed in CVent will be eligible for the chapter's top 3 events. And new this year is regardless if it's with other associations or chapter involvements. So if you're working with multiple chapters, those events will now register for you as well. And finally, the fourth one is engagement. The Council has determined that in order to understand the involvement of each member, we need to continue to capture data on how members are engaging with HFMA, be it at the chapter or the association level. And this will include networking, live events, online education, certification, volunteerism, accessing online communities, and information. The information will be captured again at the chapter, region, and association level and shared backwards as well. The next I get to share with you is the Chapter Success Plan for 2020-2021. The Chapter Success Plan is designed to help chapters focus on key areas of improvements and sustaining excellence at each individual chapter performance level. The plan will include a chapter status, goals, objectives, methods to accomplish target states, completion percentage, and areas to provide a status update. The REs and REs 2s and 3s will be there to continue to support and encourage the chapters to provide outreach for individual membership growth. This is the required metric to be included in the Chapter Success Plan for 2021. So individual membership growth will have to be one of the Chapter Success Plans. The Chapter Success Plan provides an overview of performance and service delivery to HFMA members. Chapter performance in the support of the Davis Chapters Management System requirements help provide a foundation for effective management of chapters and support the strategic direction at both the chapter, region, and association level. New in 2020-2021, the new due date for the Chapter Success Plan, which you want to make sure you put this down, is June 1st. So those incoming presidents or president-elects do need to make sure that by June 1st of 2020, they have their Chapter Success Plan completed. On to the awards for 2020-2021. We have 3 awards that will be based upon metrics, and I'm excited to introduce a brand new award that our Regional Exec Council have put together. Let's start with the metrics first. The first 3 metrics are metric-based. First one is awards on excellence in individual membership growth. Each chapter that does achieve that stretch goal of 5% will receive that individual membership growth award. The second metric-based award will be on award for excellence. If your educational quality is above 70% or you have increased your previous educational quality by 10%, you'll be awarded the Excellence in Value. Finally is the Award of Excellence Engagement. This is one where the Council is still determining how to make this award available to the chapters. More information will be coming shortly. Finally, the last one that I'm very excited to talk about is the Chapter Success Award. In 2020-2021, we will be sunsetting the Yerger Award for HFMA. And we do appreciate the historical knowledge or historical significance of Helen Yerger and what she has done for the organization. But we also have decided that it's time to move the Success Award into a new area. And the Council created an award based upon positive outcomes from that Chapter Success Plan. So 2020-2021, each chapter and region can submit one application to include supporting documentation for the following 5 categories. Category 1 is Best Membership Growth. Category 2 is Best Value. Category 3, Best Engagement. Category 4, Innovation. And Category 5, Passion. As you submit those to the regional executive, the top 5 will be selected in each category. And think of it like the Oscars. Those finalists will then be able to submit a 90-second video that will be played at the annual conference volunteer recognition gala. And the winners will be announced live at the event. So this is exciting for us to have something new, like an Oscars program, where you can be awarded as a chapter for the best membership growth. You can be awarded for the best value, best engagement, innovation, and passion. And I appreciate all your time volunteering. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. That was excellent, and we're very excited about the new program the council came up with back in November. So moving on to the new Chapter Resource Center, it's not so new anymore. We've launched back in the fall of 2019, but we have made some enhancements, and definitely still it's a process of improving, things a little bit at a time. So we really appreciate your patience during that. But I'm going to dive in a little bit on some slides, and then we're going to do an online demo of the Resource Center and the online community. So when you go here, you have to be signed in. So when you think about it, your picture, or there'll be a little person icon there when you sign in, and then you go to Tools and Chapter Resource Center. The Chapter Resource Center is designed a little differently than what in the past. Before we had toolkits, and now it's kind of in more of a structure of the how-to. How do you leverage sponsorship? Or what are the resources directly impacting enterprise? Or how do you select an RE within your chapter? So I'm going to attempt to share. Can everybody? I guess I can't say. Jenna, can you see this? Okay.
Yep, see it fine.
All right. So here's where I'm talking about signing in. You can save your information in the login, so you don't have to remember it every time. And then you're going to go to Tools and Chapter Resource Center. Out here, these boxes on the front screen will change periodically to reflect what's going on in the most current environment. So CVent Tip of the Week is still relevant. The chapter planning calendar is here, but also, what is going on with the Leadership Training Conference. So we have some new things out here. One is we did make a statement around the coronavirus that, we are still moving full throttle ahead with the low risk levels from the CDC. And know that we are taking a lot of precautions with the JW Marriott and making sure that we have things in line to keep our attendees safe. And we will be monitoring that on a regular basis. We have a rapid response group here that is meeting on a every other day right now, and hopefully we can go to once a week. But just know that we are making that happen. There's a new video out here. And I encourage you to come out here and look at it. It's just something fun, different, just kind of show you what we're doing in Austin. And as Andrew said before, we actually have more sponsors this year than we've had in historical for LTC. So we're really excited about our business partner involvement this year. We are networking. We are partnering with Together We Rise, and we will be building bikes at the networking event for the children in the area. So with that being said, I'm going to go into the chapter portal that everybody wants to talk about, because it's still in process of getting built. I will we picked South Texas to demo, just to that is Tammy Glenda's home chapter. So this is South Texas today. The information here to get into these dashboards, you have to click on the little blue icon here. We will have the networking events, the online education, and the live events. We're in testing right now with our BI team. internally, and so we're working through the content that's being developed for those dashboards. That will be coming soon. The hot topic of the day, are actually the last month, when is the education quality score going to be populated? That is the next thing that our BI team will be tackling. So, you know, that will populate here. I'm going to click in a few of these dashboards just to kind of demonstrate how you actually get things out of these things. So this is the membership. You can get your membership here. Anytime you hover over anything, you can see the images. The three dots, if you click there, you can export data. It's always going to say summarize data, but it actually is the full data, and then it'll populate down here in the lower hand of your screen, and then you can open that up, and this information would be available to you. So I just wanted to show you that. Anytime you want to get back home, you just hit the home key. One of the other questions that we have often is, where do we download our chapter rosters now that there's not a report center? And all your rosters and target market segment, enterprise members, and you know, these age lapse reports, as well as the leadership and committee rosters. This is based this access to the rosters is based on your position within the chapter. So membership chairs, president, president-elect, and other special committees have access to this. If you can't get to it, it's basic. It would be because of your leadership role. Contact your president, and they can send the chapter relations team an email, and we can give you access to that. As a chapter leader, you have access to the dashboard. So all of this information is available as long as you're logged in to your account. So from an engagement, I'm going to click on certification, because we get a lot of questions around certification. And so instead of just, you know, historically, we've only been able to show the CHFP or the fellow certified members. Today we have the other certified members as well. So the CRCR and some of those other technical certifications are included. So it's exciting that if I click here, you're going to see these things change down here, and I can actually export. I'm going to use this graph over here, and there's a reason for that. The reports look differently. If you download the one on the left, it doesn't include the expiration date or the award date, but if you use the one on the right, it does include that. So when you open this up, you can see this has the award and expiration date, so you can sort that to find your newly certified individuals. If you want to know and drill down who are my CRCR, if you click on that section of that pie, I guess it's a circle graph, then you can do the same thing. You can see things down here, but you also can export this data just by exporting the summarized data, and you would get just the CRCR 20 individuals that are in that bucket. So that's just a few things that we have out here on the dashboard. When we have the education, when we've been doing the networking and education, you will see all of your networking events. So if you have more than 4, you're going to see all your networking events. 4 will be the goal, and anything over that, you know, is extra. And so we are going to be capturing all of the networking events. The online education is anything that has webinar as the category. So we will be displaying that there. And then the live events is, as Sean had mentioned earlier, those are everything, even if they have another association involved or other chapter involvement. If 3 chapters are involved in the event, all 3 chapters will see that on their dashboard. So it's not just the host chapter. Any type visibility in CVent that has chapters, all of those will be included. If you would like to review your region, you can click on the down arrow key at the bottom, and you can select your entire region. You can select another chapter. The only thing here is you can't get to the dashboards of this, but you can see and compare that this region is region 9, and you know they have 10% growth as a region. So this will be important when we move forward with those individual membership growth goals, and so you'll see that. This growth goal will, moving forward, this includes enterprise today, with the new metrics in 2020, 2021, we will be adjusting and either adding a box here to include individual membership, so we can do a total growth goal and then an individual growth goal. So that would be part of the change that came from the council. I am going to move, Jenna, I'm going to ask, is there any questions in what we're doing right now before I move into online communities?
Let's see here. We have a question regarding the Net Promoter Score.
Okay.
Can you go into more about what drives that score?
Yes, so if you, oh, I went into the wrong one. I got so excited that I was going to click membership and it's not in here. So thank you for mentioning that. Your membership satisfaction surveys are out on the website, so you can click here and get to, you know, the results. So I'm actually going to pull up, I don't know who to use. Well, we'll just use South Texas. We'll stay with the theme. So if you pull up your report, it explains what the Net Promoter Score is, and especially goes into detail on, what page is that, Jenna?
I think it's on the second page. Yep, right there.
Okay, so that actually is the first page. So I thought it was on the second page too. So the detractors and the passives and the promoters, it actually does the Net Promoter Score, and they take the promoters minus the detractors, and that is the score. So in this case, you would have the promoters being 73 and the detractors being 6. So the difference between that is where they get their Net Promoter Score of 67. And that calculation is how Net Promoter Score is calculated across the country. So I've had a lot of questions about why can't we get credit for all of our, you know, promoters and passives. That actual score is calculated based on the national trend. All right.
And then we had one more question, just a general question as long as you're here. Could you just show the attendees real quick, how did you get to the chapter dashboard again?
So if you go into reporting and reporting tools, we didn't have a side navigation here for a long time, just because we had some things going on in our portal that we needed to take care of. We've added the side navigation here, so you see planning, performance, membership, and chapter portal. And if you click on that, it takes you to your portal.
Great.
Is that it?
That's it related to the portal, so please continue.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I clicked. I'm a happy clicker. So on the top of the homepage of HFMA, so if you log in and you're not in the Chapter Resource Center, it's always there. It's our online communities, and we've done enhancements and a relaunch of our community recently, and it has a different look and feel to it. So I encourage you to go out to my groups. All chapter leadership has been added to the leadership connection, and we are starting to post content out here on a regular basis. Instead of sending one email out every month, this is going to replace that leadership connection that has been in your inbox every first Thursday of the month for years. It used to be Notes from National. We sunset that, made it the leadership connection, and now we have the online community group. So discussions out here, you know, we are feeding this dialogue right now. We will be opening that up for others to start having discussions as well. So look for the discussions page. Then we have what we, then we have the calendar that we will be populating with all of the DCMS requirements and due dates. Those will be out here on the calendar. So you can see our chapter leader webinar is here today, and then you can see we have another one on the 25th, and leadership training conference is here. So once we get closer to LTC, all the information will be posted out here on the community, and you can get to it at any time. If there's enhancements that you would like to see, please don't hesitate to contact chapter@hfma.org. We are always interested to, you know, improving and making things better. you can see the members of the group and you can actually connect with them similar to other social media, things. But if you go here and you, Alana, you're the only one on this page that has their picture from the Hawaii chapter. So I'm going to pick on her today. We're going to select her, and if I want to follow her or if I want to connect with her, you can go through here and you can see what friends she has and that kind of thing. If I want to connect, I can just hit this connect key here, and then I can follow or request a friendship. So if I want to follow the content that Alana posts, then I just do what I just click on this connect and then I hit follow. If I want to unfollow, then I can unfollow. So if Jenna's posting like a ninja and has it going out there all the time, and you're like, yeah, I don't need to know every day that she ate eggs for breakfast or something like that, you can unfollow on this connection. With that being said, there is a lot of notifications that can come into your inbox and get a little overwhelming. So this little lightning bolt up here, these are my notifications. But if I come into the settings, I can turn off things that I don't want to have. One other thing I want to point out here is the time zone. Please enter your time zone here, because right now it's universal coordinated time, and so the timing of things on the calendar looks a little crazy. So if you just select the time zone that you're in, that will help with that. So you have all these options down here. The one nice thing over here is notifications. You can unselect all of these all at one time. So if you don't want to, have notifications coming to you all the time, you can unselect those, okay? When you come into the email digest, you can actually select how often you want these to come, none, daily, or weekly. And so then you're only, like if you want to get a leadership connection, recap weekly, then you just come over here and say weekly, and then that way when Brianna or myself or someone else in the leadership community is posting, you would only receive that weekly notice in your inbox. So it really is helpful to come in and set up your settings according to how you want to be communicated with. If you see, so you can see these are my groups. If you see a group that you're not connected to, you can request to be added, and we have an admin that is taking care of those things. So you'll notice that I have one for the chapter advancement team, and Andrew is part of that group. And so this is where we're starting to have discussions with the chapter advancement team, as well as out in the library, and I didn't do the library on the other one, we have all of the track sessions out here, and we're starting to post the presentations and talking points and different things with the chapter advancement team. So these are other things that will be adding subgroups. You can see I'm still in Leadership Connection, but we have subgroups that we've started, and we've just picked the 3 right now, but we will be adding more of these based on position or chapter operations and different things, so the discussions can be more pointed. One of the biggest ones that we've had requests for is enterprise, and we're probably going to make enterprise its own group, and then have a chapter enterprise subgroup underneath that, so you guys would all be included in that. But then if a certain question is chapter related, we would have a subgroup that those discussions can be held in. So right now, we just launched the Leadership Connection that last week in February. So we're still kind of getting used to and working through some of those things before we add a whole lot of subgroups. But when we get to LTC, know that a lot of this online community information will be shared throughout the sessions at LTC, as well as if you would like to have a community developed for your chapter. We are piloting currently with the Florida chapter, and thank you guys for all your efforts that you've had here. And they were part of our old community, so they've moved over to the new platform, and they use it for their board meetings and their leadership within their chapter. So this is just the Florida chapter leadership group. Currently, they don't have any subgroups, but we're working with them on a few ideas that they have that they want to add over here, and then we add them. The chapter takes care of all of this content on their page, and we can add any chapters for a leadership group if you think that would be something you're interested in. Please don't hesitate to send an email to chapter@hfma.org. And as I say that, Brianna's going, oh my gosh, Tracy, quit saying chapter@hfma.org. So anytime you need to get back somewhere, you can always go back to my groups and then get back into the Leadership Connection. So I am going to pause because I feel like I've said a whole lot, and I know we only have about 10 minutes left of the webinar. So Jenna, is there any other questions that need to be answered before we conclude for the day?
Yes, we do actually have a few questions, and they're just kind of random. So let's ask one on LTC. Since LTC is focused on incoming presidents and officers, what role or tracks does the current 2019-20 president have at LTC?
So the current president would be the past president for 2020-21. And so you really can attend anything that you would like to. So the president's session is going to be very different this year, and the content being delivered, we're kind of getting back to the fundamentals of chapter operations and different things like that, a lot of leadership information. There'll be some multi-track sessions like Andrew mentioned earlier for, we have one enterprise that is going to incorporate president-elect's membership, and communications are all in that room together. So the same message is being delivered. There are leadership breakouts pertaining to sponsorship, event planning, and other things, and the live streaming session that is happening. That the live streaming session, the Oregon chapter is actually helping us with that, and Jeff Johnson and Michelle Cooper are going to be running those sessions. So we have, I believe there's 4 sessions that we're going to have set up for, and there's opportunity. I know it's full right now, capacity is full. One thing I will tell you is we are going to follow up with individuals that are currently signed up with that, because we want to make sure that if you're signed up and you're part of that group, that you know that that others are waiting to be added to that. So we will be following up with people in the next few weeks to determine if there's any openings, and we'll open those up as they come up. That will be something that we communicate in the Leadership Connection community.
Okay, great. We have a couple of questions on the certification dashboard in the chapter portal. If you wouldn't mind going back there. One of the questions is where can we find a report for all the people enrolled in the different certification tracks? And I think this is a little bit different than the data that the portal is displaying.
So can you say a report for all the people enrolled in a
that are enrolled?
Yeah,
they haven't necessarily completed it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't have a report today that shows who's enrolled in a certification. Now, I will tell you, like at the enterprise level, they have an enterprise portal that they can access, and they would know from a employee standpoint who's enrolled and where they're at in the process. But from a chapter standpoint, we don't have that available.
Okay, thank you. And I think they could reach out to career services at hfma.org, and I believe that they can help with that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. One other question here. Let's see. It's regarding networking events. What do chapters have to do to make sure the networking events that are part of education events are included in the networking count?
We already have that when we're testing. That's a great question. When we're testing this week and next week, we actually one of the requirements for our logic is if the session has a networking category attached to it, it will be included. So in that dashboard, let me get back into the dashboard. In the dashboard, the events will be populated, and we have our national events out here right now, the association events. And so when you look at these dashboards, they'll be very similar. So the live events, you can hover over and see what the title is. But if I clicked on Fall Summit. I can see the individuals that attended that, and that's what this is going to be as well. For networking, it's going to be a little bit different. The actual name of the conference will be down here instead of the individuals, because we're not capturing registration at the networking events, but it will look very similar to this from a dashboard perspective.
Great. That is all the questions that we have.
Okay. Well, thank you everybody for taking time today and all your dedication and support of HFMA at the chapter and local level, as well as regional and for the association. We truly appreciate it.
Great. And as a final reminder, if you could all please complete the online evaluation that you'll receive in an email after this presentation, that would be greatly appreciated. Your feedback is very important to us. And I'd just like to take another opportunity to thank our speakers today, Tammy Galindez, Andrew Hatemonic, Sean Gretz, and Tracy Packingham for sharing their knowledge and insights with all of us today on this webinar. Thank you again for your time today and everything you do for HFMA and its members. It is truly appreciated, and I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your afternoon. This concludes today's webinar. Thank you.